Welcome.
Welcome to the Everything Podcast. I am your host, Chuck Manity. And in today's episode, we are going to be covering Love, Death and Robots Season 1, Episode 2. The name of the episode is actually called 3 Robots. So basically what it's about is long after the fall of humanity, 3 robots embark on a sightseeing tour of a post-apocalyptic city. The airing date of this episode was actually on the 15th of March 2019. So, my thoughts on the episode, to keep some continuity as to what Benny's doing, is I actually really enjoyed this episode, and as in typical Love, Death and Robots fashion, they do pull the wool over your eyes as to what it's going to be in its entirety. However, there's a very, very quick change in this episode. It's not as dark as the usual Love, Death and Robots is, because usually it's quite dark. I mean, even the shortest episodes of Love, Death and Robots they don't have a comedic and straightforward effect. They have a sort of philosophical food for thought, let's call it that. So, without any further ado, let's get right into it. It opens up immediately with the Netflix logo and then followed straight by the title sequence. And even though it has a basic aesthetic, the title sequence is still pretty awesome. So as it opens, you see sort of broken fabrics, a lot of death and destruction, teddy bears, skeletons all over the place, and it really has like a dark sort of mood to it. And immediately you see a robot standing on what looks like a human skull. This is supposed to lead you to think that this is going to be really, really horror type Love, Death and Robots, but immediately opens up with some light-hearted comedy. So just over the ridge, the 3 robots are now officially introduced, one being a tall silver one, a little orange one, and then what looks like a sort of pyramid-shaped third robot. Each of these robots have their own sort of personality and way of looking and thinking, and I love the dynamic between the 3 of them. It's really fun. So just for interest's sake, before we carry on, the 3 characters that have just popped up over the ridge is Xbot 4000, that's the big silver one, and that's voiced by Gary Anthony Williams. Then you get K-VRC, that's the little orange one, very cute one, I like it. So that is voiced by Josh Brenner, and just in case you're wondering, Akira Ishida was the Japanese version of that. And then 11-45-G, and that was voiced by Ivana Kendra, and then also Atsuka Tanaka in the Japanese version. So yes, let's continue. So the first thing the 3 robots find is a basketball. They are very confused by the basketball and exactly what it's supposed to do, which is quite hilarious because they're supposed to be advanced robots. And for them it's quite a difficult task to figure out exactly what a basketball is. It's hilarious. The pyramid looking robot, I'm going to just describe them because it's quite difficult to remember the names for the audience, for you guys. So the pyramid looking one, after what they discuss the basketball is for, they were saying that they hit them with sticks, and the pyramid one then obviously tells a joke and taps him and goes bad ball, which I found quite hilarious. The little orange one picks it up and then he throws it to the big silver guy, and then he asks, what am I supposed to do with this thing? The big silver one decides he's going to bounce the ball which is quite of a letdown because all he does is drop it and they watch it and then they're not very excited about what happens with the ball and they get bored and move on. There are a few sexual innuendos throughout this. Pyramid Robot sticks her hard drive into what looks like a jukebox and there's some banter, so let's just say that, which is quite funny. So this is taking place in what looks like a 50s style diner, and you can see all the moss and everything that's grown around the place, obviously because the humans haven't been around and are extinct in this episode. The pyramid shaped robot is taking what looks like stale food, squirting tomato sauce on it, and then almost being like a restaurant server, so to speak. So you can see they're just playing around with what would look like robots being in a post-apocalyptic world, which is actually really fun to watch. Even though it only has a runtime of about 11 minutes 36, it's quite a hoot. The jokes are quite funny. The pyramid-shaped robot is obviously talking about where humans came from. So she explains it as it's a deity made them for no reason. She goes, ha ha, just kidding. They were made from soup. So they managed to find what looks like a residential home. And in that residential home, they're talking about why did humans even have these things, and they were discussing that they were widely distributed over social media and that. And then it pans, well not pans, but there's a shot of what they're looking at. And it happens to be a cat, so the cats managed to survive the apocalypse, which is no wonder, because cats are cats. The cat then rubs on the big silver robot's leg, and they obviously all start freaking out, and then the cat jumps on his lap, and the little orange one then says, "Keep still, don't move, it could be dangerous." Obviously it's not. Or is it? They then discuss as to how to get this cat off his lap, and the little orange one suggests that he rubs the cat on its keratinous fibers, which is basically petting the cat. Obviously, as he starts petting it, the cat starts purring. They obviously think this noise might be a dangerous attack kind of thing, but it's not, obviously. We know this, they don't. This is all part of the comedy of the show. So the pyramid one says the people had a game called Exploding Kittens. So the little orange one and the pyramid-shaped one take a step back and go, "You're definitely gonna die." They're out and about in what looks like an old warehouse that's now obviously broken. Part of it's open, so it does have an open aesthetic to it. But then they find themselves an Xbox 3. Sorry, I beg your pardon, not an Xbox, an Xbot 3. And that Xbot 3, they're discussing if maybe that's an earlier sort of version of the big silver one. A fun joke is made after he throws the Xbot 3000, because he's Xbot 4000. So after he puts the Xbot 3 and just throws it on the floor, the little orange one says to him, "Hey, why don't you call it Daddy? Call it Daddy. Let's see if it comes." Another joke is made. The little orange one pokes fun at the big silver one, saying, "Hey son," or he's busy talking with the Xbot 3, and he says, "Hey son, you look a bit skinny. Have you been charging properly?" Yeah, I think the cool thing about this episode, I must be honest, is definitely the banter between each of them. There were jokes with regards to certain gaming techniques back in the day. Well, probably people still do it now. But where you sort of lower yourself in a squat position over an opponent who you've beaten. Yeah, so the jokes are about that. So you can just imagine something bag, there you go. So the big silver one gets upset because he looks up on the internet what exactly that is. Obviously a reference has been made to him with regards to this, and then he then takes the cat and then puts it on the little orange one's head and then goes, "Ha! Flea bagged." Yeah, the big silver robot actually then finds a part from the Xbot 3, which is, let's call it his great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, and then finds that it has an eye that works for his. So he's got now one orange eye, which is the original one, and then the blue one, which he obviously inherited now from what is his disposed grandfather. Great-great-great-great-grandfather. The orange one with the cat as they're walking, which is now on his head after being flea-bagged, makes mention that he is a long line of descendants from a baby monitor. To which then the pyramid robot replies, "You don't see many of those around anymore," and straight away you see what looks like a child skeleton in the trolley or the shopping cart, whichever one you want to call it. and that baby is no longer around or with us, just the skeleton. So they're busy walking through a bit of an alleyway type thing, or not alleyway, like a little opening going into what is actually probably a atom bomb or a hydrogen bomb facility of some sort. And the orange one then announces that this will be the last stop of the tour, to which the camera then turns around to see a huge bomb of some sort, and now they are discussing it. The little orange one says, well, to be fair, they only used these bombs a few times. And then the pyramid one says, well, that's all it would take, followed by something which is terribly dark, but also quite hilarious. She said, no, it was their own hubris that killed them. They believed that they were the pinnacle of creation. That caused them to poison the water, kill the land, and choke the sky. And in the end, no nuclear winter was needed. It was their own self-regard. Or disregard, actually. To which the tall robot, let's call him tall robot, the tall silver and small orange said, hey, whoa, that got dark real fast. So the three robots then come to the conclusion that humans killed themselves with environmental disasters. As they're walking away from the bomb, the little orange one says maybe they genetically modified their cats to give them opposable thumbs. And immediately after that, the cat that they've been walking with the whole time, which is behind them at this point in the shot by the way, decides, oh, time to talk. Then the cat's first words is, yes, once we could open up our own tuna cans, the humans were toast. Wow. So the pyramid one asks the cat, hey, listen, you're not going to explode if we start petting you, right? And then the cat responds, I didn't say that. You gotta watch it for the hilarious banter, and obviously for the great CGI. This is cool and a lot of fun. Love this stuff. So the cat then further entices the robots to keep petting him just in case he explodes, and tells them exactly how and where to pet him. Obviously he knows better, but they don't. The one cat then obviously introduces them to what looks like thousands of cats in this facility, and they look quite terrified. So then the pyramid one ends the show off with going, I guess we're extending our vacation, right? And that is how it ends. So, yes, obviously not the easiest one to do a review on, but I hope you enjoyed what you heard today. Please do look out for a couple of really cool reviews that Ben is going to be doing over the next couple of days. So yeah, you got The Boys to look forward to. You've got a whole bunch of other movies and such and the like to look forward to as well. One that I'm looking forward to personally is the Avengers comic review, so that's going to be a lot of fun. So stay tuned for all the really cool content, but please don't forget to put your comments in the comments below. And also, if you like today's episode, please do like, share and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.